Will Donovan Mitchell ever play for the New York Knicks? It sounds like he might not be re-signing or signing an extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to break that down in today's video. But first, answer the poll question of today. Will Donovan Mitchell ever be a Knick? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Here we go again. Yes, we are talking Donovan Mitchell on the channel when it comes to the New York Knicks because ESPN said there is zero chance Donovan Mitchell signs an extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have quotes from Brian Windhorst, Tim MacMahon, and Tim Bontemps. They do a podcast on ESPN, I think every week during the summer. So we have quotes from that. They were talking about Donovan Mitchell. But first, let's kind of set the stage a little bit. Let's take a look at Mitchell's contract. In 2023, this upcoming year, he's going to be making $32.6 million. Next year, he'll be making $34.8 million. Then he has a player option for the 2025-2026 season. He is expected to decline that contract. He will be a free agent in the summer of 2025. And we'll tell you in a second why the Knicks definitely, and you could tell, have their eyes on the summer of 2025. Let's get to the quotes, though, of the podcast. This is what Tim MacMahon said. He said, "This is kind of a make or break year for the Cavs. Do you think Donovan Mitchell signs an extension?" Then Bontemps responded and said, "I don't think there's any chance he signs an extension there ever. And if it was up to me, I would trade Donovan Mitchell today. They'll get a lot more for him with 2 summers left than they will with 1, talking about how many years he has left on his contract." And he went on to say, "Now, I also am fully aware that's not what they're going to do, and I understand why." Brian Windhorst closed the conversation with, "This fall, when Donovan doesn't extend, I'm sure he'll get asked about it at Media Day, and I'm sure he'll have a very good answer, and maybe even a hedged answer, and that will be interesting." Let's turn the clock back to 2022 because there's not many more people in this world that like to say, "I told you so," than me. So I'm going to let you know, I told you so. This is why I said for day after day and week after week and month after month last summer that the Knicks had all the leverage during the Donovan Mitchell trade. And I would say this exactly. He's got 3 years left on his contract. The first year of the 3, it doesn't matter because the Utah Jazz don't want to win games. Then he's got 2 years left. And then after year 1, and he has 1 year left, he'll be almost an expiring deal, and the Jazz won't want him on this team with 1 year. But I swing it back to say this. Why do the Knicks have all the leverage? Because Donovan Mitchell wants to be a Knick. He's said time and time again that he loves New York. He's always there during the summer. Why was he talking about the New York Knicks in his media press conference where he was announced he was traded to the Cavs? Why was he talking about the Knicks? Because he's going to end up being a part of this team in the summer. We actually had some quotes from Donovan Mitchell in a second, but first, I need to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. So go down right now, hit that big red button, sub for Knicks Dubs, youtube.com/KnicksTV. Hit that sub button, help us get to 30,000 subs. Free content on your New York Knicks every day. I think it's pretty obvious. Donovan Mitchell does not want to be a Cav long term. I told you that last summer. The only place he wants to sign a long-term deal is with the New York Knicks. How do I know that the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be a Cav? Well, 1, I have a brain. But 2, Jason Lloyd of The Athletic said this just a couple of weeks ago. Quote, "From everyone I've talked to, Donovan Mitchell wants to go to New York. Now, does New York want him? I don't know, but that's where he wants to go. That's where he wants to play." You have 2 years left on his contract. Do you really think, after all the assets that the Cavs gave up to acquire him, that they're going to run the risk of leaving and letting him leave and getting nothing in return for him, right? No. You're gonna have to trade him with a year left on his contract unless you get a big extension out of him. Unless you get a commitment out of him, I don't think that's happening. He also said this. In 2010, when LeBron James left the Cavs for the first time to go to Miami, Dan Gilbert told all the people close to him, quote, "I should have traded him with a year left on his contract. So I don't know what else I need to say. I told you all last summer he wanted to be a Knick. The only place that would have made sense for him to be a Knick to go was the Knicks, because that's where he wants to go and play. But the question you now have to ask yourself as a Knicks fan is, why trade for Donovan Mitchell if he wants to be a Knick? And what do I mean by that? He could be a free agent in the summer of 2025. If you take a look at the Knicks salary cap books, they are gearing up for the summer of 2025. At this current moment, there is only 5 players on the Knicks roster that are under contract for 2025. That's R.J. Barrett at $27.7 million. That's Mitchell Robinson at $12.9 million. And that's Dante DiVincenzo at $11.9 million. You also have Jalen Brunson under contract, and you also have Julius Randle under contract. But Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, they have player options. They are going to opt out of that contract, which means the Knicks have their bird rights, which means they can use salary cap space on player X and then re-sign Randle and Brunson without going into the salary cap. I also have Josh Hart as under contract through 2025, because once the 6-month period goes over of when he was traded from Portland to the Knicks, they are going to re-sign him. Moral of the story, the Knicks are going to have a boatload of cap space in 2025 when, ding, 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 Donovan Mitchell is a free agent. Let's go back, though, to what Donovan Mitchell had to say just a couple of days ago, talking about the playoffs and why he loved playing in MSG. He said for Game 3, when we came out, the noise, the fans, when they did the anthem, bruh, that was crazy. That shit was crazy. Like, when they did the anthem, I was like, damn, that shit is jumping. Like, I was geeked. Has anyone ever said those types of words about the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio? No. But the question you got to ask yourself is this, Leon Rose. Can Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell win a championship? That is the question you have to ask yourself when pursuing Mitchell. One, I'm not trading for him. I would wait until the summer of 2025 when he is a free agent. The Knicks can sign him outright and not give up any players in a deal or picks, and you have millions and millions and millions, almost $60 million in cap space. But I go back to the question, can a 6'1" point guard and a 6'1" 2 guard that don't specialize in defense win a championship? I am not sure. I'm not sure it's the best pairing, but I think we are on a collision course to these two guys sharing the backcourt at Madison Square Garden. If you don't like what I had to say today about Donovan Mitchell, I don't really care, but you can hit me up on Twitter and yell at me over there at @MarshallGreen_. I'm talking and tweeting about the Knicks all day, every day, talking about the latest news and rumors across the association. So if you want more Marshy, hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_.